Welcome to my little wood shop.
Work hard, get dough. I can't get no sleep, which make my life more simple. But I wouldn't trade a thing for what I have. I go hard, do what I need to make it last. They say the good die young, I hope I'm back. Cheers to my past.
You know, recently I got a comment about carving stars in American flags, and a long time ago, basically what I did was I ordered one of these star templates, and probably comes from China, which I don't like. And I used to basically lay this on my flag, and then I would hand carve each star. And I thought I would do an update because I don't do this anymore. I haven't used this in over a year. I now have an AVID CNC machine, and I can basically, I've got a carving, I got a flag template on my computer, and basically I can take any piece of wood. This one's pretty crooked, so we're gonna have to surface this first. But I can take any piece of wood and scale down my flag template and cut it into with my CNC. And basically I use on this particular piece of wood, because it's so crooked, I'll have to use three different bits. I'll start off, I'll clamp this thing down, I'll surface it with a surfacing bit, and I'll show you a picture of which one it is. I think it's a 6210, and it's a small 1-inch surfacing bit, and I'll go back and forth and make sure this thing's perfectly flat. I'll then take my V-carve bit, and I'll cut out all the stars, and then once the stars are all cut with the V-carve bit, I'll switch that out to a down cut spiral bit, a 1/4 inch, and I'll cut the stripes. And then I'll probably just stain it. I won't do too much. I'll stain it, put some layers of polyurethane on it, and it'll be a nice present for someone. I'll probably cut, this side looks pretty square, but I'll probably square off this side before I clamp it in the machine. Anyway, let's go in the computer. I'll show you so I no longer use these templates anymore. We're only going to use some American-made stuff to make this flag. And let me show you in the computer how I get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of see the approximate. I'm going to end up going from the center of this project, and actually I could go from this corner maybe. But basically I'm going to have 24 by 10. So I'm going to leave the live edges on both sides. I thought that would kind of make it rustic. But my actual dimensions of the inside of this thing is going to be 24 by 10. So, and then I'll have, 2 inches thick. So we'll have to do a surfacing program, and then the V-carve for the stars, and then the stripes. Let's get to the computer and we'll get this thing laid out. Okay, here we are in the Vectric software. We're going to go up here to open existing file, and we're going to go find our flag template. And Second Amendment flag. Second Amendment flag. Do we have any regular flags? Flag template. That one's got a big circle in it. We don't want to use that one. So I think we're going to use this Second Amendment flag. Now what that's going to do, actually we can just go ahead and do a Second Amendment flag. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to so I've imported my flag. Now I'm going to go up here to set job dimensions. We're going to be 24 wide. We're going to be 10 inches high. And we're going to be 2 inches thick. And we're going to be standard. I think maybe we're going to go from the center of the position here. So let's go for that. We'll go ahead and hit OK. No. we're not going to recalculate anything because we're going to actually go over to these toolpaths and delete all the toolpaths. Okay, now what we got is we obviously got a flag that's too big for our material. So we're going to highlight the whole thing. We're going to grab it and we're going to reduce it. We're going to hold the shift key down, grab this little node up here and reduce this down. And now we're going to go back to the drawing tab and go over here to our centering tool and center it on the project. Now we could probably make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click on it again, hold the shift key down, and that's about as big as I can make it. So what we're going to end up doing, we're going to end up cutting these sides off after we cut this whole thing out. So there you can see I've already got the flag. So we'll V-carve the stars and the Second Amendment. Now it's very important when you're doing this Second Amendment that when you don't want to do the XYZ with the V-carve bit. So what we'll end up doing, we'll end up cutting these stripes out first, and then we'll switch to the V-carve bit, and then we'll cut it all out. And where all we have to do is Z out. We're not going to do XY with the V-carve bit because it doesn't work that way. Okay, let's go over to the toolpath. So you can see how easy this is. We're going to start out, we'll select the stripes. We're going to go up here and do a pocketing toolpath. Let's see if we got the right bit in there. No. Let's select our bit. We're going to select a RD 2075. Select. And we're going to remove that other one. Now, I don't need to go very deep, so we can just do one pass. And up here at the depth, we're going to put 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to just do one pass. We're going to do it offset. That seems to have better edges. All this is going to stay the same. The only thing we're going to do is we're going to write down here stripes. And we'll go ahead and put the bit number RD2075, just so we don't get confused over there. And calculate. So there you can see all the stripes cut out. We'll preview that real quick. And you can see the edges look pretty good. So let's go back to the 2D view. So that's going to be, well, we have 3 toolpaths to do. We're going to do, let's do this next one, which will be the stars and the well-regulated militia, Second Amendment. So go ahead and go up here to the V-carve, right there, the one with the V on it. Hit the V. It's already got the bit that I like using, and we're going to leave this start depth 0.05. That seems to work out pretty good. We don't need any clearance tools. We're going to leave all this the same. We'll go ahead and put V-carve 1502. That's the bit number. And calculate. Preview all. So there's our flag. So you can see it was pretty simple. I just had to import this flag drawing, resize it, and it's pretty much the shape that I want it to be. Now, we still have another problem here. We need to surface this thing, and this piece of material is an oddball shape. So what I need to do is, it starts out about 24 inches wide, or no, 10 inches is the narrow part down here, but it goes wider. So what we're going to do is we're going to we'll waste a little bit of time, but we're going to go back to the drawing toolpath. We're going to create a rectangle. So we're going to go create a rectangle. We're going to go 26 on the width, 16 on our height. And if we start from the center, we should cover this whole board. So let's go ahead and create. close, highlight. We'll center it on the project. So there you can see it's kind of covering the whole board. Now we'll go back over to our toolpath. We're going to create a pocketing toolpath. We're going to leave that highlighted right there. Now we need to find the different bit. Now we're going to use a 6210. Let's see where it's at. It should be close by here. There it is. Spoil bar cutter 6210. This is a 3-wing cutter. We'll go ahead and remove this one. And what I like to do is we're going to cut an 1/8 inch at a time. So what I'll do is I'll create 2 toolpaths. We'll do the first one just like that. We're going to do a raster. I like to just go back and forth whenever I'm doing surfacing, and it overlaps a certain amount. Now, right down here, we're going to write surface 1/8, 0.125, and go ahead and calculate. So, and then we're going to go ahead and do another one. So we'll close that one. We'll do another pocketing path, but this time we're going to put 0.25. Now we might not have to run this cut depth of 0.25, but it depends on how lopsided this piece of wood is. Sometimes we have to run a separate toolpath. So we'll put 0.25, and we'll just leave it at one pass because we're already going to cut an 1/8 inch is already going to be cut. So when we go down the second one, it'll cut a 1/4 inch, but it'll really only be cutting an 1/8 inch. We'll leave all that the same. Calculate. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to take all these toolpaths and go over the machine, get this thing clamped down, and start working on this project. See you over at the machine. Right off the bat, I locked the material all down using the Rockwell or the Rockler clamps. I put in the 6210 surfacing bit. I make sure and go through my checklist, and I get all the, I make sure this bit is really tight. I have had the bits come loose before, and they'll lower down, so you really want to make sure your bits are tight. I go through and check all my material, go down the checklist. I turn on the shop vacuum system, and then I run the program. Now, because we've already XYZ'd, all we're going to do is Z. Right here, I'm putting in the RD2075. It's a downcut spiral bit. I'll show you a picture of it right here. You always want to make sure these bits are extremely tight because they can move up or down. Now I want to make sure that's flat on the material. We're going to test that. Make sure that light comes on. We're going to hold it flat on the surface. Okay, now it's done the Z. So we're going to go over here and cancel. Raise our bit up. Now we don't need to do the X and the Y because we already did it with this 6210 bit. So right here, we're going to put our dust shoe back on. We're going to load the program for the stripes. Stripes. We check make sure to look at your tool path, make sure it's what you want. And we'll go ahead and hit OK. So I can tell right off the bat, this bit started to come loose and it started to drop down because the last stripe, it started digging down a little deeper. And yeah, that happens sometimes. It's not, now in my case, I don't think it's gonna hurt me, but that's not good. Yeah, you can see that thing. It was a little loose. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that this V-bit is super tight, because if it comes loose at all, my letters will not turn out good at all. So this has got to be really tight. So I've got that really tight. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and do our Z. And I'll change the camera and put it over here, and I'll leave the dust shoe off. And we'll go ahead and run, first we're going to Z this out. And this will be our final cut for our little flag. I want to make sure that's really flat. Make sure the light turns on. Whatever you're doing in your V-carve, this thing has to be perfect. That's why you surface, it's pretty much why you surface the material first. That way, when you're cutting all your letters, it's really perfectly flat with the surface. Yeah, one of our stripes didn't turn out that great, but I think I'll be able to fix that. So it's already been Z'd out, so now we should be able to just start right from here, and it should cut perfect. Let's load our program. Make sure that, look at the tool path, make sure it's what we want. There's all the stars. Okay, hopefully this is going to turn out and the bit won't move. Let's go. well, actually only one thing happened. The one thing that happened was, like I said, when I was cutting the stripes, the 1/4" bit came loose a little. It's hard, I don't know how it does it, but I have had that happen before where it comes loose and then it ends up digging a little deeper than you would want. So you really got to make sure your bits are really tight. And I could tell on the V-carb, I really tightened it up tight. And so there you can see. Now what I'll have to do is I'll have to clean this one stripe out a little bit, and before I stain it and everything. But I'm probably gonna actually I'll probably leave this side just like it is, but I'll probably cut this side off about the same distance over here before I stain it. Anyway, let's take it over to the bench. We'll cut the one side off, and then we'll clean up the stripe, and then we'll stain it and get it ready to give away. And there you go, one nice little Second Amendment sign. I ended up painting the stars white and the letters red, and then I basically just sanded off the excess paint and put another couple coats of polyurethane on it. Anyway, yeah, that's going to make a nice present for someone. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, and I will see you next time. Later.
Get dough. I can't get no sleep, which make my life more simple. But I wouldn't trade